Good morning, Big Ten fans. Welcome back to another edition of the Big Ten Morning Minutes. I'm your host, Michael Chen. Today is Friday, January 25th. Give me a follow on Twitter at MFC2123. We'll get right into the Big Ten action. Not a lot going on yesterday, but still some things to report. The University of Michigan did a pretty neat thing yesterday as they awarded walk-on wide receiver Brendan White a scholarship. You love seeing this from big-time programs rewarding the walk-ons to get a scholarship. Obviously, walk-ons pay their way through school. They potentially get some help academically with some money, but the majority of the time, they're just giving up their time, their effort, everything. So it is really neat to me when schools award scholarships to walk-ons because to me, it's all about the fact that that player gives it all for the school. It's not about necessarily the playing time. It's about their love for the school, and I find it absolutely fantastic when schools end up giving scholarships out to players that walk on, that give it their all for the love of the game and the love of the university. So really cool, really good job there done by Jim Harbaugh and his staff of giving Brendan White a scholarship for his senior season. Unfortunately for Rutgers, Jonah Jackson will not play his senior season as Chris Ash is going to lose the offensive lineman into the transfer portal, and he will look to play his final season of collegiate football somewhere else, not at Rutgers. Some good news, however, for a Big Ten team in Wisconsin as they've got their 2020 class up to 5 commits as wide receiver Chimerdi Dyke is now a Badger as of last night. He's in the top 10 prospects inside the state, so that's a good get for Wisconsin. They're always, it's not a perennially big-time high school football state is Wisconsin, but for them to grab a player that they like that has good size at 6'1", he's a little light there, I would say, at 170 pounds, but as soon as he gets into the Badger strength and conditioning program, I'm sure he'll put on some good weight and get to about 195, potentially 200 pounds, and should be a solid contributor for the Badgers, but a good job of locking up an in-state player for Paul Chryst and his staff. 24/7 Sports released their newest NFL mock draft, and there's some players in the Big Ten that were on there. Nick Bosa checked in number 1, going to the Arizona Cardinals. Dwayne Haskins, number 6, to the New York Giants. Noah Fant went 11th to the Cincinnati Bengals. 13, Rashawn Gary to the Miami Dolphins, and Devin Bush goes at 20, rounding out the first round to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So not a bad showing for the Big Ten. Unfortunately, only 3 schools, Ohio State, Iowa, and Michigan, are represented in this mock. So you'd like to see a few more players from other schools get involved in this, but hey, it's still early. The combine hasn't happened. There's lots of stuff still going on. Obviously, Senior Bowl is going to be this weekend. I'll give you a report on how the Big Ten players fared during that on Monday. But moving over to the hardwood, it's pretty much all Indiana news on that side. The signee for them, Trace Jackson Davis, has been named a McDonald's All-American. He is the only player currently committed to a Big Ten school that will make the game. This is the biggest all-star game for high school basketball players. This is the one typically that you'd like to be involved in. However, the Jordan Brand Classic is a pretty good one as well, but the McDonald's All-American game is the game. That's the one that everyone wants to be associated with as a high school player, and for Jackson Davis, it's a pretty high honor for him to be named a McDonald's All-American. But some other not great news on the hardwood for the Hoosiers. We already know that Devontae Green has been suspended, and that suspension will continue. But Deron Davis looks like he will be inactive for tonight's game and for the foreseeable future with an ankle injury. So a tough blow for Indiana as they're going to be missing 2 big-time players for them. And unfortunately, one's an injury, one's a suspension. But at the end of the day, you have to play through it, and that's what it's all about in sports is, getting through all the adversity. So currently, Indiana has a decent amount of adversity, and we'll see how they react to it. That's going to do it for today's edition of the Big Ten Morning Minutes. I've been your host, Michael Chen. Give me a follow on Twitter at MFC2123. Have a great day and a great weekend, Big Ten fans.